This episode of SpectreSoundStudios is brought to you by Pro Mix Academy. Hey everybody, it is Friday. That means it is time to get this weekend started with SMG viewers' comments. Let's get right to it.
What about sharing these multi-tracks with us? Would be great to get some high-quality multis that are not all programmed with MIDI.
Funny you asked that. I'm actually working out something right now with Warren Hewitt where I'm going to be making some multi-tracks available through his Produce Like a Pro Academy, and you guys can get your hands on them and mix the tracks. I'll be doing lessons on how I mix the tracks, and you guys can take those tracks and mix them how you see fit. And then I'll actually be judging your mixes at the end of the month, and somebody wins something really cool at the end of it. Really looking forward to get involved in that. I'm talking with a couple bands right now about making that happen. Hopefully we're going to get a chance to maybe track some of that in some of the larger Canadian studios. We'll see how that goes. We got some really amazing studios in Toronto, and I really want to make that happen. So let me know if you guys are interested in that sort of thing.
Glenn, I think you would appreciate this. I just got kicked out of a country show. Wasn't my choice to go because the singer was cupping the mic. I decided it was a good idea between songs to yell out as loud as I could, "Stop cupping the mic, dumbass!" Apparently singers really don't like to be told how to hold the microphone.
Dude, I know exactly what you mean. When I first came out with how to hold a microphone, I got a phone call from a very old and respected client of mine, and this guy went up and down one side of me and the other. He was not happy with me at all. Mainly because I had mentioned in one of the comments he was kind of the inspiration for that video. So there you go. Yeah, singers don't like when you point shit out. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Well, the inspiration thing anyway, but it was, here we are, 3 years later, it's still fucking hilarious. Sorry, dude. It's not like I didn't warn you. Seriously, though, singers hate being told how to hold a microphone. Look in some of the comments of my latest stupid musician texts. Oh, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. I already proved this. No, you didn't. You didn't defy the laws of physics, you dumb shit. Singers really hate being told how to hold a microphone. It doesn't matter what genre, whether it's metal or blues or country. It's kind of a good thing you got kicked out of that game. Bass players hate being told how to practice, and drunks hate being told to stay the fuck off the road on their e-bikes.
Stop trying to go after him!
Just for the record, okay, the only reason anybody drives an e-bike in February in Windsor isn't because they're environmentally conscious. Believe me, nobody in this town gives a shit about the environment. It's because they lost their license for drunk driving. Just another cheerful day in wonderful sunny Windsor, Ontario, Canada. I love living in this city.
521. At least the kick bus and snare condenser aren't clipping much.
Well, hey, this is another case of listening with your eyes instead of your ears like you should be. Here's something I learned a long time ago. You can clip drums a little bit and they'll still sound really good. You don't want to clip a nice clean vocal, an acoustic guitar, or even heavy distorted guitars. Not at all. That's a really bad idea. But certain drums you can get away with. Honestly, I like the sound of my snare condenser getting clipped out. I'll either clip it right on the channel or use something like DF Clip, which is a really cool program, and just kind of take the tops off a snare drum or kick bus as well. There's a lot of cool ways to deal with it. And I even know some guys who go even further than clip. They'll outright distort their drum tracks to get things a little bit more punch. Don't judge your audio with your eyes. Make sure you listen with your ears. Don't be afraid to try new things unless it's butt stuff, and then that's just fucking weird.
What's the biggest advantages you find when using Reaper over other DAWs, especially Pro Tools? I find that Pro Tools makes workflow much more streamlined and smoother, but I really want to hear your perspective on this since I used to use Reaper also before Pro Tools.
My opinion there is, you know what, if you find Pro Tools to be more efficient, great, go for it. For actual mixing, I find Harrison Mixbus to be incredibly efficient. I've got some issues with the editing and tracking part of those programs for mixing. It's fucking amazing. So if you're working with a DAW that allows you to get your shit done quickly, use it. That being said, there's some cool stuff going on behind the scenes with the Avid guys. I might get to put Pro Tools on the show in the very near future. I'm sure that'd be something everybody wants to check out because it is the industry standard. And I want to find out what this industry standard's all about and what it means for the home recording guy and girl.
Adult things sound kinky.
Unfortunately, adult stuff in this studio means, fucking editing videos for 3 releases a week. That means I have to get work done before I can have any fun. There's no fucking video games being played in this studio, not in years. I used to play Elite Dangerous with Kevin from Dillinger Escape Plan back in summer 2014 when I was only doing 1 video a week. And, Dillinger, as you guys know, had that accident. They're out of commission for a while. Kevin is currently catching up on his gameplay, whereas I'm just going full out trying to do 3 videos a week for you guys. It's tough keeping up with it at times, and yeah, when you get something really cool coming up, like, a brand new fucking custom guitar that you've been looking at in pieces over the last few months, and it shows up at the doorstep, and it's like, come play with me, and you're like, fuck, I gotta edit, because if I don't have a release, I can lose subscribers, and then there's all these consequences. YouTube burnout is a real thing, people, and I'm trying to keep up the best I can, so I do thank you for your support. Not nearly as much fun as being kinky, but hey, I try and keep up.
Hey Glenn, I'm starting my own studio and decided to partner up with a friend and bandmate that had an open space for us to start and set up everything. At one point, the partnership changed to I was the sound engineer, I had to set up everything for the recording, I had to mix, and he just provided the place and did nothing but have fun on the terrace with his buddies who were recording for free. He's a bass player, by the way. So my question is, do you think it's better to run a studio with partners or just run it all by yourself? Thank you for all the tips. I'm looking forward for the heavy mixed drum videos.
Definitely go the solo route when it comes to opening a studio. That way you're calling all the shots and you don't have to ask anyone's permission. And if you need help, hit up your local college or university and bring in some interns and get them to do the grunt work. That's the simplest solution I can give you, man. That and your friend's a dick. My suggestion, buy one of these shirts and wear it to the studio every chance you get.
Hey, huge fan. One quick question. How did you decide to become a studio engineer rather than live or even a musician? Thanks.
That one's really easy to answer, honestly. Most of my friends were better guitar players than me. That's a good way to look at it. When I got to record a song for a music video when I was in college, I took media arts at Sheridan College. I wasn't too happy with the mix of said song, and I asked my friend if I could take a crack at mixing the song because I had certain ideas how things should sound, and he was gracious enough to let me sit down behind the board, and it was one of those things where everything kind of made sense, and I was really happy I got to do it because I made a really cool mix, and I'm like, fuck, I can do this. That's where everything kind of fell into place, and then when I got out of school, I got into a manufacturing job, which wasn't exactly what I went to school for, but it did pay well. Opening up a music studio seemed to be a much more affordable way than opening up a video studio at the time. The technology has kind of flipped, and with the DSLR technology and do-it-yourself lights and that kind of thing, you can actually open up a pretty decent video studio for not a whole lot of money these days. But I am glad I did the audio because I got to do at least two good records over the last 20 years. So I'm really grateful for that.
That guitar tone, though, fucking sick, bro. Mind sharing the settings and which amp it was? The Rev?
Yeah, actually, that was my Rev Generator 120. Nothing major about the settings. I think let me check here. Everything was pretty much at 6. I think that was the red channel. That's the Generator Mark II. And that was into my Angle Pro cab, but the most critical piece in that signal chain was the mic, which is the new Delphos mic from Roswell Pro Audio, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to be giving that one a demo in the very near future. We're going to be doing some vocals with it. We're going to be doing some acoustic guitars, things you would put a really expensive mic on, and it happens to be my absolute favorite guitar mic. Unfortunately, it's not very cheap. It's about $9.99, but definitely worth the cash if you can afford it.
Hey Glenn, what's your take on mixing drums from a listener's perspective or a drummer's perspective? I always do it from a listener's perspective. It feels more natural to me. The only advantage I see to doing it from a drummer's perspective is if you want to air drum to the song. Also, have you tried side shading snare to overheads to make the snare sound cleaner? That way you can get away with less squash cymbal sound. Great video, thanks.
To your first point, yeah, I always mix from the drummer's perspective solely so I can air drum along to the song. I used to do it from the audience perspective, but it's just a lot more fun the other way. As for your sidechaining thing, yeah, I used to do that in Saw Studio all the time. You know what? I really haven't looked at the sidechaining features for Reaper, especially when it comes to controlling a compressor in the overheads. And that's something I should really investigate because, yeah, you might have a good point, though. I know that FG401 that I love to use on overheads can get a little spitty when you start stomping down on the overheads too much. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going to investigate that a little further because that's definitely worth checking out. Great suggestion, dude.
Hey Glenn, I was wondering if you delay the close mics to the overheads. I do this all the time and it makes the kit sound better with less EQ.
I started doing that originally, and then I realized none of my favorite records did it. None of my favorite drum sounds did it because they were all recorded on tape, and that would be impossible to do. So interest of keeping up with the classic sounds, no, I don't fuck with that, and I'm really happy with the drum sounds I get. I look at great drum sounds like, on British Steel or Peace of Mind or Painkiller, and yeah, there was none of that little micro shift going on, a few samples just to line everything up into perfect sync. And those drums sounded fucking amazing. Another one would be Blind by Corrosion of Conformity. What a fucking amazing drum sound. None of that shit's going on. So my suggestion is work it like the masters did and learn how to do it right. That being said, I've been checking out the Autoline program from SoundRadix, and I am going to have a demo coming up on that pretty soon, and that's going to help get everything in phase. And it's not only going to work on drum mics, it's also going to work on guitar mics. Definitely worth checking out. Stay tuned for that demo. That should be coming out hopefully sometime next month.
Hi Glenn, I know that this is how to mix in a metal context, but have you seen the video where Simon Phillips shows us how he records his drums, where he says that he doesn't use gates, he uses the condenser mics on the toms and doesn't care too much about bleed. He says that is how he gets his sound. I love to see different approaches from recording, and that is why I follow a lot of recording channels, expecting to learn more.
Yeah, you know what? If you can find a drummer that plays like Simon Phillips, I say fucking go for it. Simon Phillips has been a session musician for what? 40 years, 50, 45 years, something like that. The guy's an absolute ace on the drums. He has control, he has style, he has precision, everything you want in a drummer. So yeah, when he says he doesn't have to gate out his toms, okay, fantastic. You know why? Because he's got the finesse to pull that off. Your average metalhead cymbal smasher from your Joe variety basement band that you're going to be working with might not quite have that developed skill set. Maybe does. I don't know. It's something I'd like to check out. I was looking, say, on the Tominator video. I've done some stuff for Drumatom as well, where we take the bleed in and out, and I've demonstrated that. And you know what? It can be all right. I do want to try doing some condensers on the toms, some large diaphragm condensers. We're going to see what goes on with that in the near future. I've been talking with a few different mic manufacturers, and hopefully I can get a set of condensers to try out on the toms, because it's definitely something worth exploring.
Hey man, do you have any experience with the Royer R121 on guitar cabs? If so, what do you think of it? Thanks for the awesome content and keep up the great work.
Yes, I have tried an R121 on guitar cabs, and for metal, they're not really that great, unfortunately. They sound very muffled and cloudy. If you're playing clean or semi-overdriven guitar, they're fucking great. No problems at all. They're fantastic mics for that application. But for heavily distorted guitars, no, absolutely not. Even Dave Royer will tell you the exact same thing, because he said that in a discussion with Andy Sneap a few years back. Unless you're going to use it for a room mic on a guitar cab, don't bother. And honestly, with metal tones, you don't want a room mic anyway. Just don't do it. I've seen a case where somebody, say, blended a 57, a 421, and a Royer, and that got a pretty cool sound. So if you can afford it, try it. But yeah, maybe not. I am going to be checking out some of the Rode ribbon mics in the very near future. So maybe I will try that out on a guitar cabinet, and we'll see how that pairs up. Good question, though. Thanks.
Greetings, good sir. What would you say is your most used, trusted piece of studio equipment besides computer and interface?
I thought about that question for a while, and I can't narrow it down to just one thing. It comes down to two things, really. Number one, the laser pointer for the bass players, and number two, the SM57, because it works on just about everything.
That's beautiful. Hey, Glenn, what's your earliest estimate you think you'll have those impulse finished for us to buy? I'm saving my pennies already.
Not sure yet. Everything's still pretty much in the preliminary. Depends on how many cabinets I can get hold of and where and when. I'll be working on them over the course of the spring, and believe me, as soon as I know more, I will let you know.
Ha ha, when I was a teenager, Bon Jovi the band didn't exist yet.
You're fucking old. What was it really like when you stormed the beach at Normandy? So, what was it like with driving around with stone wheels and a hole in the floor? Dude, you gotta tell us what it was like when the first electric guitar came out. Were you that let down by Rudolph Valentino when the first talkies came along? How was seeing color TV for the first time? How was Julius Caesar's funeral? That must have been something when you landed on Plymouth Rock. How did the Liberty Bell sound before it was cracked? That's it for this show. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't checked out the Motorhead tracks in the Pro Mix Academy, please do. There's nothing quite like working with Lemmy tracks. That's all the time we got for this show. Have a great weekend, everybody. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this episode. If you like the content, please support the channel either at my SMG shop or through my Patreon. If you want to see more, hit one of the playlists. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here.